Module 20 of the Freedom Ticket. In this module, I just want to take a few minutes just to show you some general overviews of how to do keyword research. For me, keyword demand on Amazon is the most critical factor to your success on Amazon. It's not BSR. BSRs can be misleading because someone could have a really good BSR, and by really good I mean a really low number, but you don't know if those sales are coming from Amazon or if they're coming from outside Amazon. Maybe they got featured on a TV show and they got a lot of sales from people going to Amazon. Maybe they've been running infomercials or they've been running Facebook ads, and people see the ad, but instead of buying it from the ad, they go to see if they can get it on Amazon and get it in a day or two by Prime. Or maybe they're driving traffic from their own website, or who knows where it could be coming from. So organically, which means people that are naturally searching for certain keywords on Amazon, is for me the most important part of trying to find a product to sell on Amazon, because you want to find products where people are organically looking for them, and most of the sales are not coming from outside of Amazon, or someone's looking for something very specific. So what I want to do is I want to try to find opportunities where there's products that are doing well organically on Amazon. Now, that organically on Amazon could also involve sponsored ads. Sponsored ads there's two types of sales: organic sales and sponsored sales, where people are running ads on Amazon. So organically could be sales coming from either one of those, but the point is the keyword, people are searching for the keywords. They're coming up to this search box right here, this big white box, and they're actually typing something in and then finding it and then buying it on Amazon. So that's the traffic that I want to try to capture, because if you're having to drive outside traffic, other than when you're doing a launch, when you're doing a launch, you may need to drive outside traffic. But if you're having to drive a lot of outside traffic to prop up your sales on Amazon, you may be approaching this in a way that's not ideal, because then you're just using Amazon as a fulfillment. You're not taking advantage of all these millions and millions of people that are coming to Amazon looking for stuff as a search engine. Amazon's one of the most popular search engines out there, and so I want to get in front of people that are actually looking for stuff. Now, some of the things that I look for is how competitive is something. There's a lot of products on Amazon that you might be able to buy at a good price. You might be able to make a good ROI. You actually might even be able to rank it. But the problem is if it's a commodity, that means everybody is selling it. There's no distinguishing factors. There's nothing that really distinguishes one from another, and all the pricing is very similar. So, for example, one of the things, if you type in, let's say, makeup, you've done some looking around and you decide you're going to sell makeup brushes. So if I type in makeup brushes as my search, and I click the search bar and I look at the results. Now, these are sponsored results here, so these are the top 3 are people that are doing advertising. But let's just take a look here real quickly at page 1 results, and notice the pricing. So the pricing here, $7.98, $13, $13, $10, $9, $13, $12, $9, $13, $9, $12, $8, $8, $16, $16, $6, and so on. I keep scrolling down here. There's one that's sponsored for $30. Yeah, but most of these are all in the same price range. It looks like the vast majority of these are in that about $8 to $13 price range. So if I'm going to sell this product, I'm going to have to be able to sell competitively at about $8 to $13. That means there's not a lot of differentiation here. So your key to success is going to be having a lot of good reviews or having really good imagery that really makes you stand out on the page. But if you take another product, cornhole game. A cornhole game is like a beanbag game. So if I type in cornhole game and I scroll down, I see some results here: $80, $100, $70, $63, $102, $113, $89, $116, $51, $36, $99, $68. Now you see here at $35, the pricing is kind of all over the place. I mean, we got stuff here that's $22 on page 1 and stuff that's over $100 up here on page 1. So to me, this is a great opportunity because it gives me more flexibility. I can come in with a product like this, and I don't have to worry about trying to fit it into that, like that makeup brush, that $8 to $13 hole. I can actually come in here and maybe I can find an opportunity to sell one at $23 if that's what my budget is, and I find a great deal. Or maybe I'm going after the higher end. I don't want to sell so many per day. I want to sell 5 or 10 per day, and with more profit. I might go after one that's $100. But the fact that there's a whole variety of pricing here on page one, it is very attractive to me, and that's something that I've learned through all the products that I've done. Is when you're competing solely on price, and everybody's in a very similar price. It doesn't matter how well you do your product launch or how well you got your margins. It's much more difficult to compete on Amazon. So this is the type of thing that I would go after more likely than like a makeup brush, for example. Now let's say that a cornhole game was something that I was interested in doing. So what I would actually do, the first thing is I would use the Helium 10 X-ray extension, which is right up here in my Chrome browser. And if I just hit it, it shows me a little number here that the word cornhole game has about 18,000 searches per month as of right now. This number will go up and down. It shows me an opportunity score of about, a success score here of about 2 stars out of 5. Now you may look at that and go, well, that's not so great. But I can tell you that the Helium 10 tool is one of the most strict tools out there. There's other tools that will give stuff a 5-star, and Helium 10 will give it like a 3-star. So anything, if you're going to use this as a metric, anything above a 2 to a 3 is something you want to look a little bit closer at. It doesn't mean you need to do it, but 2, 2.5, 3s, 3.5s, if you actually hit a 4 or 5-star here that has decent search volume on Helium 10, that could be a really great opportunity. So this is just giving an estimate of about $1.4 million per month. The average guy on here is doing about 31,000. The average price is about 72, and the average number of reviews are 224. Now you can sort all this, and you can see you can sort any of these columns up at the top. You can click on any one of these guys, and you can actually see their sales history. So you can see this shows you 30 days, shows you kind of how they're doing, and you see if you mouse over it, it actually will show you like day by day, kind of an estimate of what they're selling every single day as you mouse over it. What I like to do is I like to click on the 1 year. You can see on this product it's got a downward trend. I don't like to see too many of these downward trends. I like to see more of an even or upward trend on a product over the 90-day to 1 year time frame. You'll see on 90 days, he's on an upward trend. And then you can do all time. And you can scroll over this and you can see how it's changing by date, their sales averages. So sometimes people will ask me, hey, I'm trying to predict how much I'm going to sell in the fourth quarter. Well, you could go look at competition and go back and see what they did last year and kind of scroll over this, and you can see how much their sales increased in the fourth quarter or how much they increased for Prime Day, so you know how much inventory you may have to buy. But that's for a later discussion. So this tool also will show you how many reviews. If you scroll over here, you can actually see the review count. So you can see here that there's some of these have a very low review count. These SP means sponsored. That means it's a sponsored ad. So those guys are trying to get their sales going. But some of these guys have quite a few reviews. As you'll see in the Freedom Ticket test in just a little bit, this is a number we're going to pay attention to here. Because if there's quite a few that have high reviews, it's going to mean it's going to be a lot more competitive and much harder for you to actually compete. You can also see this review velocity. This review velocity shows you how fast they're getting reviews. And so that's something we're also going to take a look at. If you see a negative number here, that means they had reviews taken away. Most likely they were gaming the system or doing something they shouldn't have been doing to get some fake reviews or something like that. It also shows you the dimensions and the weight, the size tier, the number of images they have, and so on. So you can sort all this by any way you want with this X-ray tool and get an idea of what somebody is selling. And so that's a great thing. The other thing you see is that on the page here, the Helium 10 Chrome extension puts this data right here. See this little box right here? This is normally not on your Amazon page. So you can actually see right here where this is ranked. This is in the sports and outdoors category, and it's number 36 in cornhole games. So just at a glance, you can scroll through here, and you can see this is number 10, number 11, number 3, number 1. So this guy is a bestseller. That's why he's got the number 1. He's a bestseller in cornhole games in this category. So he's got a bestseller badge, which can actually really help your sales. And you can see the same thing is it shows you all this information for all of it. If it's sold by Amazon, if it says NA, that could mean that the data was missing, or the time that Helium 10 went to get it, there was some sort of server error or something it didn't kick back. That doesn't mean there's nothing there. It just means that something could have happened when when Helium 10 went to pull the data, that it just didn't read it for some reason. Or it could be that there's nothing there, but don't really pay too much attention to those. But you can see here. So now, let's say I was gonna do this game. This is something I was interested in doing. So the next thing I want to do is I want to know what is the keyword demand. What is the keyword demand for this particular product? So I would want to know how much different keywords are contributing to the sales. So what I would probably do is I would do this. I would use the X-ray tool. I would come up here, and I'm going to find the guys that have the most sales. I don't care about so much about their dollar amount or how much money they're making. I want to sort this by sales, because the guys that are making the most sales, I want to figure out how are they getting those sales. So you can see here, this guy here, this Ghost Sports Solid Wood one, it's got 2,292 sales last month. Next one, 1,800, 1,700. I'm going to take up to the top 10 of these. Now for this illustration, I'm just going to do a couple of these guys, but I'll do one first. But you want to make note of the top 10, that are doing it by sales. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy's ASIN. See his ASIN right here? So I'm just going to copy that ASIN. And I want to figure out where is he getting his sales. It's not just Cornhole Game. Yeah, there's quite a few searches for that. But that's not the only place he's getting his sales. So I want to see what's the keyword demand on Amazon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the Helium 10 tool, and I'm going to use the Cerebro tool. You see the Cerebro right here on the left-hand side? I'm going to use that Cerebro tool, and I'm going to paste right in here this ASIN. Now, you can paste 10 of them. You could paste all 10 of the top ones right here. It's a little bit more advanced, and we'll go over that in just a second. But I'm going to just do one to show you first. And I'm going to say get the keywords. Now, what this is going to do, it's not going to tell me exactly which keywords this guy is making sales on, but it's going to tell me what he's indexed for. And it's going to give me an idea of all the different keywords that he might be making sales on. You get a whole lot of data here that you can use to make more detailed analysis. But if I look down here, you found 4,632 keywords. Now I can do some filtering here. Typically what I want to know are what are the keywords over 600. The 600 is plus or minus a small margin of error about the top 1 million keywords on Amazon. So if you're in the 600 or more, now you could do 300, you could do 200 if you're going after something that's it's not so popular, but I typically will put this at about 600. I typically leave the IQ score out. I don't I don't pay too much attention, me personally, to that. Other people do, but I don't. The organic rank. Now, if he's on page 3, he's probably not making very many sales. If he's on page 1, he's probably making a lot of sales. So what I like to do is let me see which keywords he's in position number 1 for, up to about 16. Sometimes Amazon shows 16 products per page. Sometimes they show 24. Sometimes they show 48. Different categories are different. But typically, if he's in the top 16 positions, he's probably getting some sales. Most sales come off the top 3 or 4 positions, and most guys make most of their sales on about 3 to 8 keywords. Now, there are some products that will get a sale here and a sale there, but the vast majority of the sales typically come from about 3 to 8 keywords. Now, you could do the keyword count. If you want bigger words, like more long tail, you could change this to, say, like a 3. So that would mean Cornhole Game would not be included, but Cornhole Game for tailgating would be. But I'll go ahead and just leave that at 2 for now and hit apply, because I don't want to look through 4,600 of these guys. So I'm going to hit apply, and this just narrowed it down to 17. So these are probably some pretty good keywords. Now, you could lower this number to like 300 or something else, and you'll probably get a lot more. Let's just see what happens if we lower this to 300. We're going to go from 17 to 47. So these are additional keywords that you might want to take a look at when you're doing your research for pay-per-click and for making your listing and building listing. But for right now, I'm going to focus on the bigger keywords. I want the top 1 million, 600 searches a month. That's what's like 20 searches a day. That's not very many. So 20 people all over the United States a day are typing this keyword in. And so I'm going to hit apply. We have 17. And you can see here that cornhole boards is got 11,000 searches a month. Cornhole game set, cornhole boards with a space in cornhole. Notice the spacing is a whole different keyword. People misspell stuff. Cornhole board without the S. Corn space hole space game. Someone's misspelling it coin holes game. They're misspelling instead of corn. They're typing an I instead of an R, and so on. You can see the search volume. You can sort this just by clicking this column by search volume. So you can see that cornhole outdoor game is by far a bigger keyword than cornhole game. Now these big keywords look attractive, and you're like, holy cow, this would be great to go after. But when you're first launching a product, it's going to be super competitive to go after a keyword that has this much search volume. You're typically, we'll talk about this in later modules, but you're typically going to want to launch until you get some reviews on these lower end keywords. You're going to be focusing on keywords like cornhole game that has 1,700 or cornhole decals that has 1,300. Some of these down here that are going to be a little bit easier for you to get rank on until you get some reviews. Once you get a bunch of reviews, then it's going to, and you have some sales going, then as long as your reviews are good, then you can go after some of these bigger words. But the mistake a lot of people make is they do a launch and they try to go after these big, huge words. And you can see here the CPR giveaways. This shows you about how many you need to give away over an 8-day period to rank. Now, there's different ways to give stuff away, and we'll talk about that in launch. Sometimes you can do less numbers than this. But this shows you that that's going to mean you're going to have to take a lot of your units and sell them at a pretty heavy discount to rank for that. Versus down here, I can rank for stuff a lot smaller, make sure my product actually works, verify I have a good product, verify people want it, instead of going after one of these, making the big mistake of going after one of these out of the gate and crashing and burning. So now you can also see the sponsored rank where when they took a look at this, where a sponsored ad was, but this is the organic rank. So this particular product is ranked number 4 for cornhole outdoor game, number 8 for cornhole game, number 1 for corn space hole. So most likely, these are items, keywords where he's getting most of his sales. And so you can do this, and you can do this with multiple ASINs in here. So you could come right here, and you could compare people together. So I just did the first one. So you can do up to 10. So let me take the second one here and come back, and I can just paste it right there, and then say get keywords, and this will combine them together. So if I say get keywords here, for these two, and you can do up to 10. I recommend you do at least 5 once you really get into this, because sometimes this guy might be on page 1 for one keyword, and another guy might be on page 1 for a different keyword. And you can also find the similarities. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the minimum search volume of 600 again, position rank 1 to 16, the word count 2. Now these match types, you could look at just organic. You can look at, there's lots of other options here. These are a little bit more advanced, but I just want to show you the basics here. So I'm going to hit apply. And you can see here that between these two guys, there's new columns that showed up. So I have a competitor average rank right now. So that means that between these two guys, their average rank for cornhole set is 2. So that means one of them is probably number 1, one of them is probably number 3, because there's only 2 in here. So when you compare 10 of them, you can get something like this, and you can see where they're really, the lower the number, the better, right here. And you can see where the keywords are that they're probably generating a lot of sales on. Now, one of the things when I'm looking at product opportunities is I like to see that there's a lot of keywords that have opportunity here. I like to see lots of holes or lots of windows to get into the house. I don't want to see a boarded up house where there's only one door to go through. So I like the fact here that there's 17 keywords. I generally like to see a minimum of 10 to 15. Now there are some exceptions to that where it's a very highly specialized product and there might be only 3 or 4 and it could be a great opportunity. But for a lot of products, I like to see at least 10 to 15 keywords show up here where people are getting ranked on page 1. Because that means that gives me lots of opportunity to go after some of these easier ones to rank for. Now, if you've already been selling on Amazon for a while and you have brand registry, which means you have your trademark and you applied for brand registry and been granted it. Now, most of you don't have that because you're brand new Amazon sellers. You'll get that down the road once you do your trademark and you get it official. takes anywhere from about 9 months normally. There is an accelerated program. Amazon lets you do it a little bit faster, but it typically takes about 9 months in the U.S. European markets and some others are quite a bit quicker. But once you have brand analytics, you can actually use this. This is the brand analytics right here, and you can actually type in like over on Cerebro. What was that top keyword we saw? Search by search volume. So cornhole outdoor game. This keyword right here has 44,397 searches a month according to Helium 10. I can type in that keyword right here, and what Amazon will tell you, they'll give you a little bit more information. Now, you can't get this from Helium 10. You have to be brand registered on Amazon. Now, this is a little bit advanced, so we cover this in the Helium 10 Elite in detail, but I'm just going to give you a quick look here what you can do and why a trademark is so important to get brand registered. So important is you can get reports here weekly. I can pull this down to monthly or quarterly, but let's just do the last week here for cornhole game, or this week range. And so you can also enter an ace in there, but if I hit apply, Amazon, this data is coming directly from Amazon. And so what they tell me here is they give me something called SFR, search frequency. So the word cornhole outdoor game is the 4,290th most popular word on all of Amazon. So there's only 4,200 words basically that are more popular. So it's super, super popular. But you can see here, cornhole outdoor game for kids, 1.2 million. So it's not so popular. So it's probably a cornhole outdoor game for kids. I bet, let's even see if it's even in our list of top 17. See, it didn't even make the cut. We would probably have to come back over here and change this number to like 200 or something. 600 is about basically the top 1 million. And I like to see a lot of keywords I like to see at least five of those 10 to 15 keywords be above 1,000. So, but in brand analytics, what it will show you, they also show you the number one clicked ASIN. So they'll show you right here which ASIN is getting most of the clicks. It's this one right here. When someone types cornhole outdoor game, this ASIN is getting most of the clicks. In fact, it's getting 10.94% of the clicks. And of anybody that clicks and then buys, it's getting 16% of the conversions off of this keyword. That doesn't mean it's making 16% of all the cornhole game sales, but off of this keyword, it's getting 16.16% of the sales. And you can see the number 2 one is this guy here. He's getting 9% and 9% click share. And then the number 3 one, they show you the top 3, 8% and 4%. Now you see how this one has 0, 0, 0, 0. This is something that tells me that someone's trying to manipulate the system. People are getting clicks, but nobody's buying. So whenever I see a bunch of zeros, like this one's a 0, this one's a 0, and this one's a 0, the top 3 right here all have a 0 conversion share. This particular keyword, there's probably some hackers or Chinese guys or somebody, cornhole outdoor game wooden, they're trying to do some sort of manipulation because they're doing add to carts or they're getting clicks. We talk about that in another module. And this would be a keyword that I would stay away from. I would not even consider that keyword because these guys are, I might put it in my listing, but I would never try to really go after and rank because there's manipulation going on. But the fact that this top keyword up here, the distribution is really good. If one guy had 75% of the click share, and 50% of the conversions, that doesn't leave a lot of space for me. I got to beat this guy. But something else you can do once you have this is you can go and look at these guys and see what their images, click on this ASIN, see what his pictures look like. Click on this one, see what his pictures look like. See what he's doing. Click on this one, see look at his pictures, look at his description, look at what he's using in his title, and you can get some ideas of how you can build your listing. Now, I'm not going to go into any more detail about this right now because most of you don't have access to this. But if you do, you want to use this and go into Helium 10 Elite, where we show you a lot more detail and some of the training there on how to use this to really hone in on really good keywords. But this is another reason I just want to emphasize that you once you get going and you've proven your concept and you're really serious about this, you want to get that trademark because you got to have that. This gets opened up to you once you do that. So back on Cerebro here, which you all have access to, this is where I would be looking, and I would be start to make my list here of potential keywords. And so this cornhole game looks like it could be. Don't go do this because there's thousands and thousands of you watching this. Don't don't go do this. I mean, whenever you see someone put out a course or a YouTube video and say, "Here's 20 great product opportunities," you should run as fast as you can from those because one or two people are going to make money and everybody else is going to lose their shirt. So do not go do a cornhole game because there's thousands of you watching this video, and if a bunch of you go do it, nobody's going to make any money. I'm just using this for example right here, but this could be a potential good product that I would then have to take to the next step, find a factory in China or the U.S. or India or wherever, decide how am I going to differentiate the product, what am I going to do differently? Am I going to do images that have football team logos on them or that have flags on them or whatever it may be? I'm going to have to dive deeper and try to figure out how can I differentiate this product. I don't just want to be another guy that's got a cornhole game. I got to have something that's different. But the fact is that the pricing was all over the place. That gives me lots of opportunities and lots of different angles that I could go at, and not everything looked the same when we looked at the results over here when we looked at these results over here. As you can see, there's flag ones, there's wood ones, there's plastic ones, there's some with a case, some without a case. So this is great. If all these look the same, if every one of these look identical, I mean, obviously the board is you're throwing a beanbag through it. But if all these look identical and you're just different colors, that's going to be very difficult for you. I see a lot of people make that mistake where they try to launch something and there's no differentiation. But you see here, everything on this row looks different. That's great. And the pricing is $69, $19, $56, and $159. To me, these type of opportunities are really, really good. So this is the mindset that I have when I'm looking for products and looking for opportunities. That doesn't mean that there aren't other ways to do it. There's other people that will show you different ways, but this is just a general overview. And you're going to have to go into the keywords and make sure that opportunity is there, and then you got to go in and get your pricing and make sure you have your ROI and you have your profits. So even though this might make sense, at the end of the day, once you get the sourcing and the pricing, it may not make sense. There may be other things that rule it out. And so we're going to be talking about that in the next module. I'm going to show you a product evaluation spreadsheet that I used to actually determine whether I should proceed with a product or not. And so we'll go into that a little bit deeper. And once I determine this product does make sense, then I'll start getting into the really nitty-gritty details of am I going to put a U.S. flag on it, or am I going to put a British flag, or am I going to put football tailgating, or what am I going to do to differentiate it? So we'll talk about that in the next module. But this is just some of the general basics that you want to look at. So keyword demand is critical on Amazon. You notice I'm not really paying attention to any of these BSRs. I'm not really paying attention right now to the category it's in. I'm not paying attention to a lot of things. I'm just looking for what's the keyword demand. Is there an opportunity for differentiation? Is there an opportunity for a variety of prices on page one? And what can I do to have a good chance of success selling this product?